Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Krahak Wadash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching His truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like, for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person, or so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Because of videos lined up on how crappy the American economy is and how it's failing, and it's getting bad. Anyway, I'm going to play these videos. I'm going to get into scriptures to my best ability, say whatever God say through spirit and power, Yahweh by Shema Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Krahak Dash, Lord, want to be on me. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? D7 back at you. Got quite a few of you asking questions, emailing me about this economic D-Day and everything with the crisis going on with diesel and where it's all going. Well, I cover this on the live streams, but for those of you that don't have time or miss the live streams, it's pretty much going like this. This is a new threat from Trump himself. He dropped this on Truth Social, and he is targeting Iran with the biggest economic sanctions, the biggest operation of its kind ever seen in history against the country. He's trying to force them to bow down. Now, he's in a catch-22 here, and he is saying this is going for the long haul, right? I would say get ready. I've said it a million times, but like the writing is on the wall in blood. He is saying this isn't coming to a close anytime soon. We've been in this over 6 months. You can expect another 6 months easy. And at that point, why would they not ride this thing out until he's out of office? I think they're going to, but I also think there's going to be escalations. I think there's going to be huge blowback, and I think America is going to get hit in the mix. I think it's been the plan the whole time, and we're going to see it. I've always felt like the next grandiose event, 9/11 event, is going to be what I've always dubbed the economic 9/11. And it has to be economic in a sense because it has to do with this reset. It has to do with resetting everything. That's what they want out of this. Can't you see? Hormuz is the driver now. It is the grinding wheel for this whole thing, for a reset. It's causing the whole backup of oil and goods in Hormuz, but then add in now, they're turning up the heat over here in the Strait of Tears. They're going to block the whole thing off. So 6 months we've gone here with Hormuz shut down. Now they're about to block off the other strait. And Trump's trying to talk about sanctioning Iran, and they're ready to dig in. That's where we're at. In the meantime, this disruption is already causing rationing in places like Russia. The EU just came out and said they're falling into crisis mode. Their natural gas supplies are low. And they've been putting out lights out warnings again for here in America that, like, you better be ready for when the grid goes down. And specifically stating that hospitals only have a 60-day supply of backup fuel for the generators. That's diesel. If they cut the diesel down like they're doing right now, and then we go into a crisis or an emergency, we're double Dutch screwed at that point, but that's how they like to serve it. Okay, so that's what I would expect. They're not messing around at this point. And I guess I got to throw in there in this video, shout out to the cat that saw the little UFO behind me in one of my last videos. Yeah, I'm going to have to cover it and put it out there. Flash of white light came out of the mountains over my shoulder, and I missed it. I went back and looked at it, and it's an object. Came out of a flash of white light. I'm going to...
Yeah, I ain't never seen that video, but the fucking UFO would be a chariot of the Lord. If it was an angel piloting a chariot, it would be a chariot. Fucking UFO or UAP.
Showed on another video right back there. Wasn't a bug, wasn't a bird.
It was a chariot of the Lord. Well, I haven't seen it, but hoping it was a chariot piloted by an angel.
It was something crazy.
Well, anyway, let's move to the next video.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we pride ourselves in offering the best value from the inside out.
And we are doing a big investigation on it, yeah.
Many of us expected or hoped that gas prices would drop after the ceasefire.
Still, the White House insists there's no...
What ceasefire? There never was a ceasefire. Well, oh yeah, these are old clips. What I'm talking about.
reason to be concerned.
I mean, I was right. There never was a ceasefire. The bitch just closed. And these niggas is just pulling that bullshit on you. Running that bullshit game, lies and shit.
that voters are worried about gas prices driven higher by the Iran war.
By the end of April, that's Ken McClure, Lansing, Michigan. His family started K&P McClure in 1992 with one truck. Today he runs 44. According to WILX News 10, diesel had jumped about $1.50 a gallon in weeks, costing him roughly $7,000 more every week. So in March, on local television, he named a month. By the end of April, if diesel prices are what they are now, we're gonna close the business. That's not a man complaining about gas. That's a man with a date. And here's what I couldn't shake. In March, the reason he'd been given was true. There really was a war, and crude really had gone above $100 a barrel. By July, that reason was gone. The number on his fuel bill was not. So where did the rest of it come from? And is anyone actually to blame for it? Okay, look at these two lines. One rule first. Every number here comes in the only unit that means anything at a pump. Cents per gallon. A barrel is 42 gallons. Everything converts. The flat line is crude. According to EIA daily price data, in the 8 weeks before the war with Iran, Brent averaged $68.69 a barrel. Divide by 42, and that's about $1.64 a gallon, before anybody refines it into anything. On July 1st, 2026, $69.24, about $1.65. Same barrel, roughly, a penny apart. The line going vertical is the refining margin. That's the money made turning that barrel into fuel. Before the war, refiners made about 44 cents on every gallon. In early July, with crude at the same price, they made $1.45. Over that same stretch, according to EIA's weekly national average, the pump went up 97 cents. Crude went up about 1. The margin went up about 101. Distribution, marketing, and taxes absorbed the remainder, about 5 cents. 101 cents a gallon. 97 of them reached the pump. On a 15-gallon fill-up, that's about $14.50 every tank. One caveat, I'm using the Gulf Coast margin to stand in for the whole country, so say about on all of it. The shape doesn't move. Every headline I read pointed at the Strait of Hormuz. The strait carries crude. According to that...
Just let you know, I ain't gonna play all this shit. I'm gonna skip. I ain't gonna skip it.
Same government price data, crude barely moved. So I went into the SEC filings dated late July and early August. 4 big U.S. refiners' combined operating income. What's left after they've paid for the crude and to run the plant before taxes and interest rose from $3.51 billion to $14.96 billion. That's an $11.4 billion swing. One quarter, not the 4 biggest, the 4 that report this figure the same way. And crude was not cheap in that quarter. Per EIA quarterly averages, a gallon of crude averaged $2.44 across April through June against $1.62 a year earlier, up 50.8%. The margin widened while the input got more expensive. Now, I want to be precise about what those filings show. They don't show anyone doing anything wrong. Marathon Petroleum filed them with the SEC, signed by its own executives. So did Valero. But a margin that triples as a...
Alright, anyway, I ain't gonna play all this. I thought it would be one of those videos where I've been seeing it a lot when he's commentating or either have a bunch of clips of people complaining about things. But now it's just a straight on video where he's narrating through the whole, from the beginning to the end. But I ain't got time to play all this shit. Well, anyway, prices going up on fuel, and that means everything else will be going up, or is going up, or continue going up. Let's get to this one. I don't know what this is about. Bank of America and Walmart is... Bank of America, Walmart issued major warnings.
2 of the biggest companies in the entire United States just issued the same warning the same week. These 2 companies are Bank of America and Walmart. They are both saying that the American people are going to feel stressed very soon. I'll break this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and how it's going to impact your wallet. But at the end of this video, there is one number that you need to know. We will address that and explain why that number is going to impact so many people. But before I do, here's the one question I want you to answer. In this entire video, here's the one question I want you to answer. What is the one cost that is stressing you out the most? Let me know down in the comment section below. Maybe it's your household costs, maybe it's your rent or your mortgage, your car payment, or maybe your credit card bills. Whatever it is, let me know. But look at this right here. It says, nobody escaped. Walmart, Bank of America, and TransUnion raise a major red flag over U.S. consumers. It says, protect your nest egg now. What exactly do they mean? Well, let's get to it, because this is scary. Look at this right here, okay? It says, Walmart CEO John Furner recently identified one particular source of pressure. Says, that's really the stress point, is the price of fuel. Hopefully we see some relief on energy prices. Okay, I want to give you some facts here, okay? Look at this one right here. It says customers were filling their gas tanks with fewer than 10 gallons per visit. That's an indication of stress. Here's the problem. When people are filling up their gas tank, putting gas in but not filling up their gas tanks, that is an indication of stress in the household, that they don't have enough money to fill it up entirely. We're seeing the same thing when people are going into Walmart and they're not buying a week or 2 weeks worth of groceries. Instead, they're only buying a couple of days. That is financial stress. Okay, I want to read something to you though. Listen to this right here. When it comes to Walmart, filling your tank with less than 10 gallons, this just shows people can't afford what they're trying to go and get. People are using buy now, pay later. They're also using credit cards. Credit cards and buy now, pay later for food. It's crazy, but that is what's happening. Let me read this one as well. It says Bank of America's own customer data tells a similar story. In May 2026, Consumer Checkpoint showed that overall spending growth, but it also found signs of stress beneath the surface for some households. Here's who. In particular, lower and middle income households were pulling back on discretionary spending, while the wage gains enjoyed by lower income households over the previous year were barely enough to cover their increase in gasoline spending. Here's the problem, okay? Look what's going on. I just want to play something for you. Watch this.
After I pay my bills, there's nothing left. There's nothing left even before I get paid. Like, I'm already like, okay, I'm about to get paid, but like, what does that matter? Because it's gone even before, like, as soon as it hits my account, it's hard.
Yeah, as soon as it hits their account, it's gone.
Remind me of this. Hagar chapter 1 verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. Yep.
Here's the issue, okay? And this is something that a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be fine, okay? Everything's going to be just fine. I want to show you something, okay? Right here is the AAA gas prices, okay? And I want you to pay attention to this. Look at this right here. This is today. This is August 17th. Gas prices are $4.06. This is the national average across the United States. Obviously, over here on the West Coast, it's a little bit higher. But I want to show you something, because this is what people are saying. It's $4.06 today. It was $4.06 yesterday. It was $4 a week ago. A month ago, it was $3.98. And again, we've seen gas prices, spike. Where gas prices were up to, $4.40, $4.30, something like that, and they've come down. And people said, well, we were okay. We got through that time. We'll be able to get through it this time. Here's the issue right here. Look at this. It says rising gas prices hit Americans again, but this time it is different. Why is it different this time compared to February, compared to March? The difference is what happened back in February and March, okay, and in April. What happened in April? Millions of Americans received a larger than normal tax refund. They've since blown through that money. I got a comment the other day, and somebody said that, yep, it is gone. They put their whole tax refund. It came out, it was either on a different card or different bank account, something, and they tracked it. Well, the whole thing was gone by the end of July. It was like, I think the second or third week of July. The whole thing was gone. They blew through it. Here's the issue. Now they have to try to make it through the rest of the year until, likely February or March of 2027 until their new tax refund comes through. People are not going to be able to wait. I want to read you something else from TransUnion. It says TransUnion is seeing the strain from another angle. Americans' credit profiles. It says right here, everyone has seen the effects of inflation somewhat equally. Nobody escaped it. What's happening, people are now starting to realize they don't have any money. They don't have a backup source. They don't have credit cards that they can rely on. They don't have a savings account they can turn to. They can't pull money out of their retirement account because, well, they already did that. So they have no money there. They can't turn to friends and family who are in the exact same position, and they're struggling as well. And then on top of all of this, well, they can't sell anything. I talked about this the other day, where we are already seeing the cracks and the stress, where average Americans can't sell their electronics. They can't sell their phone. Nobody wants to buy it for what they're trying to sell it for. They can't sell their homes. People aren't paying. Can't sell their car. People are waiting for prices.
I like to sell some damn silver, man. Damn, my motherfuckers. I was just thinking about this shit. I'm like, how much is silver now? Yeah. About damn almost $70 an ounce. Man, get out of here, bruh. Gold's still holding on something, I mean, but goodness gracious. This shit should be about at least an average of $100 an ounce. At least. But anyway.
This is the drop.
Shit. Yeah.
Can't sell tools because, well, they can't sell it for what they need and what they're asking for. People are getting ripped off. That's what's happening. Okay? I want to show you one last thing. It says right here, America in focus. Inflation cools in July, but so do consumers with their spending. This isn't just about what happened in July. This isn't just about us spending money. What we saw in the previous reports was that the U.S. economy was shrinking. People were spending less money, but they didn't know who was spending the money. Here's the thing. Back in June and July, we had the World Cup here in the United States. That was massive.
Alright, I ain't gonna play no more of this. If you want to watch the rest of this, it's not much. About almost 3 minutes left. Then be my guest. I had stopped at 7 minutes 44 seconds. But all praise about your mouth, Shaw. The water about your mouth, Shaw. Yeah, they go to title. They go to China. Let's move on to the next one.
Some 31% of adults say they've opted for over-the-counter medication instead of prescription drugs because of costs. Another 19% say they skip prescription doses or cut pills in half to make this isn't the richest country in the world.
That's bullshit. Supposedly the richest country.
Guess what? You probably already know this because 92% of Americans have either delayed or totally abandoned medical care because of how expensive it is.
That's why I didn't get my hair plugs.
Did you know that? 92%.
Yeah, I played a video about that, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. Tomorrow they paid, I don't know, was it 200 grand? These folks expecting this couple to pay 200 grand for just delivering a baby. And I'm like, shit. And then this one woman had leg surgery, but I don't know how serious the surgery was, but she had to pay like 40-something thousand for it. Yeah.
% of Americans have delayed or totally abandoned medical care.
Just get your booster.
Whoa. But we need another $1.5 trillion for the missile manufacturers for a war that nobody...
But yo, I remember, was it back in 2000... Was it 2005? No, not 2005. I'm tripping. 2014 or 15. I had psoriatic nerve pain, and I didn't even know it was psoriatic nerve pain. But I went to the hospital, and to see what it was, they didn't know what the fuck it was. All this bitch did gave me a fucking shot on my rear end, and then afterwards it was like, that shit made it worse. This shit made it worse, and then I left out the hospital with about almost a $300 bill. But them niggas sent me a $1,000 bill later on. You motherfuckers. I ain't pay that fucking shit. Hell no. You niggas are for a fucking shot. I don't know what the fuck. And these niggas don't know what the fuck they doing. I hate these motherfuckers. I hate these people, bro. These motherfuckers give you a goddamn shot and they don't even know what it is. They ain't bother to ask you what you do for a living. How you know what I'm saying? They just, I got the solution. Here's a shot. And it was an Eve. That bitch probably trying to terminate my ass. Fucking bitch. She ain't no shit. Hell, I can claim I'm a doctor going up in the hospital, put a damn what in a doctor suit on, or with the whatever jacket, lab jacket on, and walk around like I know something, and I don't know shit. That's how them folks are in that damn hospital. They don't know shit. That was $1,000. And they ain't never seen that money. The bill collector came and send they damn shit, but I ain't giving them shit. Hell no, they ain't deserve it. I was like, you niggas ain't did shit. I already paid the fucking bill. Well, the first one, the $300 down, that's good enough. I had to pay they try to get me to pay $1,000 shot to my butt cheek. I'm like, nigga, please.
What? For 2 wars, 3 wars that nobody wants. Gaza, Ukraine, and now Iran.
Healthcare's for military.
And I'm like, what makes you think that shit gonna fucking work? What the fuck was that shot? I didn't even bother to ask. I was just like, I was in pain, like, but this shit didn't do no damn good. Man.
This is from a shocking 92% of U.S. adults are not going to the doctor because it's too expensive.
And where you see somebody getting a fucking shot in their shoulder. And that's an expensive shot. Probably gonna kill this sucker.
Oh, no.
Get him ALS.
Oh, how will they get their boosters? It's almost COVID season.
You took the words right out of my head, Jimmy. COVID is still a thing, okay?
There's nothing more sad, Kurt,
What the fuck is this?
than watching decent, honest Americans having to find their vaccinations on a street corner.
Yeah, I don't want you to get them on the street.
Let me tell you, street vaccinations are not the way to go. But for that matter, neither are the other ones.
I take bathtub hormones for my sex change, then I get street vaccinations. And people say don't do it, but I can't afford better.
An overwhelming number of Americans are delaying medical care because of fears they can't afford it. Some 92% have delayed or abandoned medical care because of costs. That's according to a survey. Those aged 18 to 28 are the most likely to delay or avoid care because of costs. 94% of 18 to 28-year-olds have delayed or foregone medical care, followed by those aged 29 to 44. The findings highlight a growing gap between having health insurance and feeling financially protected, with medical costs forcing many Americans to delay treatment, cut essential spending, and take on debt. This is called a failing system. Our entire empire is crumbling. This is late-stage capitalism. We can't even give our people health care when they're sick.
I don't want those shithole countries sending their people here to this nice country where 92% of the people go back. Jesus Christ.
The decision to delay medical care involves...
Alright, we these people here skipping out on their hospital bills. And I love it. It's showing you more signs that America's collapsing. And if you still don't see it or believe it, you just meant to be destroyed. Shit, and get that microchip implant. Because that's what it's ultimately coming down to. And damn, I just now thinking about saying that. And I usually say it when it comes to financial stuff and just pretty much a whole bunch of stuff. It all is food, crisis on food, war, everything coming down to that chip implant. Yep. Let's get to the next video. If you want to watch the rest of it, they go to the title or they go to the channel.
Where we are already feeling that pinch, it's the grocery store. In the last year, many items in the produce aisle have already gone up, and the latest food item that could cost you more, strawberries. Ben Sullivan explains why.
Strawberries could soon get a lot more expensive, leaving shoppers seeing red when it comes to the price. And it has to do with possible tariffs.
An independent agency came in and they said that the imports from Mexico are hurting U.S. growers.
The Trump administration is now looking into whether Mexican growers are setting unfairly low prices.
Oh my goodness, boy, these niggas are obviously fucking you people up. And y'all niggas not even y'all raging, but y'all ain't taking that rage on these motherfuckers. Probably because they scared they might get shot the fuck up. I'd be like, nah, don't be scared. Yeah, just go out there and rage. Rage against the machine. Shit, get this shit started, man. I'm getting tired of you damn Babylonians not doing shit.
Whether they should implement tariffs. Here's why that could drive up the cost. 98% of strawberries sold in the U.S. last year came from Mexico, with shipments worth more than $1 billion. Shoppers saw tomato prices skyrocket earlier this year because of tariffs. Tomato prices were 12.8% higher last month than a year ago, according to the latest Consumer Price Index report. But that wasn't the only contributing factor. Freezing temperatures in parts of Florida during the first 2 months of this year also played a role because much of the tomato crop was destroyed. Items in the produce aisle are already very vulnerable to price fluctuations because of extreme weather. Throw in tariffs, and it can make prices even worse.
You're dealing with supply and demand issues every single day in the fresh food business.
Stu Leonard is the owner of Stu Leonard's grocery stores in the New York tri-state area. He says for businesses, it's really hard to offset costs when items like tomatoes or strawberries go way up.
It's really challenging. And you know what? Here's basically what every single retailer across the country will agree with me on. If you raise prices, guess what happens to sales? They go down.
The good news is that tomato prices have already come down a lot. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Yeah. I never heard of Stu Leonard. This is, I don't know, they probably I guess it's somewhere in Atlanta. I ain't never heard of a grocery store called that. Well, anyway, see what this is about.
You're to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline.
Oh yeah, for your gasoline.
Just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have a country. Really, it's the number one.
Yeah, it's about the nuclear warheads. They can't have nuclear capabilities. Yeah.
State sponsor of terror in the world. We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. So remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4.
How do they say that shit? They've been saying that shit. They stopped saying it, but what was it? Long-term gain for short-term pain. Well, short-term pain for long-term gain. Yeah, that's what it was. Shit, is that long-term gain came yet? No.
It's okay. I mean, it's. I'm not. I'll never apologize. I did the right thing.
Look at all these damn order followers. They could all just go and arrest this nigga and all the rest of these fucking crooks. Boy, are they? No, they're not. They're a bunch of bitch-ass dumb suckers.
He'll never apologize for not serving you,
Hold on, they're a bunch of dumb bitch-ass suckers.
for driving up your prices and going into endless wars, the exact opposite of what he promised. Because beloved Israel must be served, and no one can apologize for that. Now, remember last year this time, gasoline was around $3. Now it's above $4.
Now down there, well, some shit. Yeah, that's the average.
But that's all your fault, okay? Not Trump's fault and not Israel's fault. So Anna, tell us all about it.
Now, actually, it's supposed to be Iran's fault. Yeah, it's supposed to be Iran. No, it's supposed to be Biden's fault. I don't know.
Well, I think it's important.
These niggas, he'll be picking and choosing whose fault it is while the economy is shitty. They can't just say it's their sales.
To check in on what ordinary Americans are already experiencing as a result of inflation, runaway inflation. We're now starting to see the ramifications of the war that we are fighting on behalf of Israel. That has led to the Strait of Hormuz being closed. It has also led to the Red Sea. And the Houthis no longer allowing the Saudis to transit oil through the Red Sea. And so what is that translating into? Well, people are struggling to pay for necessities. That was already the case, and this situation is exacerbating it. So everyday Americans aren't just struggling at the gas pump. It's everything from food to utility bills. And it's become such a problem that you have these predatory loan sharks behind buy now, pay later companies cashing in. And they're cashing in big time. In fact, two of those companies, Flex and Zip, are now letting people take out loans on broadband service, their electric bills, health insurance, mobile phone service, their mortgages, water bills. So Affirm, one of the most popular pay later apps or services, is also providing loans to tenants who are having trouble affording their rent and need a little bit of an extension in their monthly rent payment. So they can extend it for about 2 weeks with a service that's being offered by Affirm. But there are consequences to that, and we'll get to in just a minute. Now, according to research that was just released by the Federal Reserve, Americans spent $160 billion last year through pay later loans, nearly twice what consumers spent 2 years earlier in 2023. That's still a fraction, though, of the more than $3 trillion U.S. shoppers spend annually on consumer credit cards. In fact, consumer debt, credit card debt, is still at record levels. That has not been alleviated, as you can imagine. But there's more. And I call them loan sharks for a reason. Not only are the interest rates tied to these buy now, pay later loans incredibly high, lenders are often very deceptive of the terms involved. And there's usually an option to make 4 payments for 0% interest. However, the longer term financing through these buy now, pay later services carry interest rates up to 36%. And if you are late on a payment, of course, there's all sorts of penalties and fees. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau at the tail end of last year, December 2025, put out a report that looked into 2023 numbers. So obviously we're talking about 2023, has nothing to do with the Iran war. I want to be clear about that. But it was already starting to snowball into a problem, right? These buy now, pay later type loans. So across 6 companies, lenders originated $335.8 million buy now, pay later.
All right, that's a lot of fucking money. A lot of people owe him. Yeah, but a lot of people in debt. Hey man, what up? Let me see. I'm trying to think. What is it? A lot of those people that in debt be Israelites. Damn, what was I supposed to be looking up? I'm trying to figure out how do you spell. Okay, it's this way. And the people that hate them people that claim to be the Israelites, those niggas ain't the people. Yeah, who the way in the scripts they say that the chosen people gonna be owning banks and shit. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty much in control of all the whole financial system. Nowhere. They say this shit. We gonna be the lender. I mean, we gonna be the borrower. And who the wicked of the world? Esau, Edom, Amalek. They gonna be the lender. They lending the money. We're borrowing it. And shit, we're slaves to this nigga. Let me try to find this scripture if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Job. And there's a whole lot. Even their own people are debt slaves to this shit. ran by the wicked of Esau Amalek, the so-called white man, but he ain't white. He's red. His baby they sucking, foreskin eating Jewish faggot fucking nigger. And Amalek. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is the subject to the lender. And hell, he can't even pay the bills off. Yeah, cause it's got interest on it too. They making more money. Yeah, this is all usury. You don't supposed to put no interest. If somebody borrows something from somebody, you supposed to pay back what they borrowed. You know, the exact change, exact amount of money they borrowed. Not add more shit to it. Let's get to what he's talking about, jobs.
Hey Scott, come check out my new single post car lift. Whoa, a single post lift. That's actually
one flag for every employee Microsoft laid off across all its studios. That includes many who worked here at ZeniMax in Hunt Valley. Now, they're calling on Microsoft to do the right thing. The clock is ticking for many employees at Microsoft-owned ZeniMax in Hunt Valley as they get closer to their last day. In a round of layoffs, Microsoft announced they'll be eliminating 4,800 jobs. That includes laying off 3,200 people across its Xbox division. The first phase of these layoffs already affecting 1,600 people, like Jordan Goldfarb.
It's been rough. The job market right now is not a good place to be.
Goldfarb joined a crowd of his co-workers outside ZeniMax Tuesday, protesting Microsoft's actions. In a blog about the layoffs, Executive Vice President Amy Coleman said in part that the business model had to shift as technology quickly transforms. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma said in part that they're operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than publishing businesses, and says the industry is facing the most severe hardware crisis in its history. Goldfarb begs to differ.
We know the money is there to fund us. Xbox made $22 billion in revenue last year. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella had over $90 million in salary last year.
The Communications Workers of America union representing the gaming employees filed unfair labor practice charges with the National Labor Relations Board over violations of status quo protections.
They were supposed to engage in decisional bargaining with us before making any sort of changes of this magnitude. They did not. That's illegal.
They're getting paid until their last day on September 6th.
There's some hope that the negotiations will extend the Warn Act period so that we can continue to get things, or that they'll be done by then and we'll get our severance. But if one of those two things doesn't happen, it's bad. So we're hoping that we can get some motivation from Microsoft to represent at the bargaining table and work with us, not against us.
I've reached out to Microsoft for a response to the union's legal actions. They haven't gotten back to me yet. In Hunt Valley, Rick Payne at WMAR.
So it's not going to be one company laying off 20,000 employees. No, it's going to be 50 companies laying off 500 employees here, 300 employees there, and that's far more dangerous. Because first they lose their job. Then they stop making their credit card payments, can't pay their car payment, can't pay their mortgage. So then the house next door loses its value. And as the whole community decides to come down, and they are starting to retreat and retract, and everything's just falling apart, the entire community is going to get hurt. And eventually, the entire country could end up in a recession. Today I'm going to show you what's going on, why we should be concerned, and what you're...
And then, there'll be chip implants for everybody. Because that's what it's ultimately come down to. The market of beast chip implant.
Not seen in the headlines. This isn't stuff that you normally see. These are quiet little announcements, but they make a big impact. Look at this. It says, U.S. unemployment claims rise, but remain at a healthy level. So first off, you see the news. U.S. unemployment claims rise. That's not good. But they remain at a healthy level. Okay, I'm okay. I'm fine. It's healthy. No. What is happening here, and this is what AP does all the time. This is what Bloomberg does, CNN, Fox News. They hit you with the headline, tell you this is what's happening, but they reel you back in and tell you, it's okay. Don't worry, we got you. No, it's an issue. Look at this right here. It says the Fed officials warn rate hikes may be needed if inflation stays high. Many people are already anticipating we are going to have to raise our interest rates just to make it. Guess what? Not only is that going to impact us personally, it's already going to impact the United States. The United States is $40 trillion in debt, but yet it continues to just balloon out of control because we are going to have a higher interest payment. This is going to be devastating. But look at this right here. It says layoff fears are pushing some visa holders out of big tech. You know what's happening? Well, I pulled this up for one main reason. A friend of mine, he is going to lose his job within the next couple of weeks. Look at this. It's even on the WARN notifications on the Washington website. You can see it right here. These are all the layoffs that are coming. And there's lots of different pages. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see here. Okay, down here, you got on August 3rd, that's when the layoffs were going to happen, Amazon was going to lay off 57 employees. Well, my friend is part of this layoff right here with Microsoft over in Redmond. Now, there's going to be about 605 people laid off. That's going to happen on September 4th. Well, here's the issue. He is not from the United States. My friend is from China, and I don't remember from where, but he's from China.
So if you don't have no job at a certain period of time, then they're going to have to get kicked out of the country.
Now, here's the thing. He is likely going to...
Or get deported by, or get snatched up by ICE and, you know, whatever.
To go back to China because he is having a difficult time finding a job here inside the United States or in the Redmond, Seattle, Bellevue area. And so he's going to leave. Here's the thing. He owns his own house, okay, which he's having a difficult time selling. He's gotten on the market. I think it's been on the market for a little bit over 2 weeks. He's had no offers. He's had a handful of showings. People are looking interested, but they don't want the house. They don't want it because why would somebody want to pay that much for a house when everyone thinks prices are coming down? Remember when I said one person loses a job, they can't afford their credit card payment, can't afford their car payments, can't afford their mortgage? Well, this is what's happening. Once he loses his job in the next couple weeks, he is going to have a handful of months where he can still, kind of sustain himself and his lifestyle, but he's eventually going to have to move if he doesn't get a new job. He's going to have to sell his house, likely sell his car. Here's the issue. If he can't pay for his house and his car, there's no way a credit card company is going to continue to allow him to use their credit card. He's going to lose that eventually as well. I want to show you something. Here are more signs of what we're...
I don't know. You're about to get into talking about other stuff. Let me go ahead and get into... What is this? Freight disaster. Let me go ahead and read this. Got one more video play, but I'll play some more of this. Let me read Isaiah chapter 19, verse 15. Neither shall there be any word for Egypt. Talking about America. This is Egypt all over again. America. Which the head or tail, branch or rust may do. So you got good paying job to low paying jobs. Or high paying jobs. I'm going to say good paying job. High paying job to low paying jobs. Ain't nobody they can find no work. And it won't be no work. And they're doing this deliberately to bring in them chip implants to market the beast. Yeah.
Look at this. It says millions of Americans are trapped in homes they can't sell. It says millions of Americans cannot sell their home in 2026, and the housing market is more frozen than it has been in years. Homes are sitting on the market for much longer. That's scary. When everybody has equity in their home, their net worth is tied to real estate, tied to their home, the value of that home. Well, if the issue is they can't sell their home, then really, is that their net worth? Are they able to take their equity, cash it out? No. They're not able to do that. If they want to refinance, maybe they can get money out. But in most cases, many lenders are a little more stringent. They want you to have more money coming in. They want you to have less debt. They want to make sure they are not taking on too much risk. I want to show you something else, though. Look at this right here. It says, why the 2026 mortgage layoff cycle looks different. Mortgage industry faces renewed job pressure amid flat volume and tech gains. Now, the mortgage industry is facing a very interesting time. I have a friend that he works in the mortgage industry. He's been a lender for, I think, like 16, 17, 18 years, something like that. A little less than 20 years. One of the things that he told me is that people are coming in looking to try to get pre-approval for a home. The problem is when they see that number, they know that it's going to be a little bit more expensive than what they're used to. But when they look at that number and he shows it to them, everyone's reaction is the same. Oh, I didn't realize it was going to be so high. That's what everyone's saying. And so here's the thing. He's had to let go, and I talked about this earlier on this year, is he had to let go of the majority of the lending department at the bank. He had to let him go. It's only him and one other person. That is it. There's only 2 lenders at that bank because they saw everything was just collapsing. It was crashing. And now we're starting to see it even more. I want to show you something else, though, okay? Because again, I want to try to tie this all together. Look at this, though. It says freight distress report. More than 7,000 job cuts in new wave of closures. It says Tyson, Essendant, FedEx, Ryder, Daimler Truck are among companies cutting jobs and consolidating facilities across U.S. supply chains. Think about this for a moment, okay? And again, I had so many people comment when I did a video, I think last week, talk about how Tyson was closing one of their facilities. There are actually 2 facilities. One of the things that somebody wrote in I believe it was a comment, maybe it was an email, but they wrote in and said that they were part of that, and their only option is to pack up and move. And I think they said they're going to move, like their only option to relocate was like 700 miles or 800 miles away. It was a little bit under 1,000. And so when they said that, then my first response was, okay, is that something you're going to do? And they said no. They can't afford to do that because they would have to sell their house, and they can't sell it. Nobody's buying. People are under contract. I have a friend that he was telling me that his house has been under contract. It's contingent on the buyer selling their house, but their house is under contract, but that house is contingent on that buyer selling their house. So again, I'm bringing this up because we are waiting for one domino to fall, for the next one to sell, and the next one to sell, and the next one to sell, and the next one to sell. Do you see why this is an issue? These are huge problems because as people are waiting and they're realizing, especially very soon, once that tax bill hits, once people have to pay the property tax.
All right. Anyway, we're going to read this, and they got that last video was coming from the Hopeful Left 3. I'm going to wrap it up. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and be the people that's keeping the financial systems running, the bankers, the stock people, all that shit, the credit people, all that, the people that's dealing with money. Well, they letting this shit crash, bro. It's ultimately all by the Lord. Yep. But it's also ushering in them chip implants, the mark of the beast, digital currency, all that crap. Anyway, and the strong men shall bow themselves in the grinder seats because there are few going back to them jobs. And those that look out the windows be darkened. It's going to be looking pretty bad, negative. You think it's bad and negative now, but wait till it gets really bad and dark out here. The future, I'm talking about the future of America is going to be, and also the rest of the world. Because America ain't the only one going through financial shit. Then I had a video about, I think I probably deleted it. I don't know, if it's somewhere in here like China, they going through massive layoffs and you thinking them other countries looking good? No, the massive layoffs of them other countries looking like a bunch of losers. From the UK to China, yeah. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. Be big businesses, small businesses closing up. When they close up, jobs gonna be cut. When the sound of the grinding is low, be the sound of work. He shall rise up at the voice of the bird by the alarm clock, or actual rooster, or just regular birds. The early bird getting the worm, they out there tweeting and twerking. They like tweet, 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 tweet. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. The music's up. And let's get that last one, and I'm gonna leave out. It is hot up in here. I ain't got no AC running. Shit, I ain't even used the AC in my house in years. The only time I have AC is at nighttime. I'll close the windows up in one room, and I'll just turn the little AC unit thing that's on wheels. I'll leave that shit on all night. Sleep like I'm in luxury or something. The dog be in the room too. And hell yeah, she want to be up in there too. She don't want to be in no hot ass house. She want to be in that cool feeling room. I'll be like, come on in, puppy. And feel the breeze. And then when the morning the sun comes up, then you gonna feel feel the torching heat. Shit. Cause I ain't gonna leave that damn AC thing running only at nighttime when I'm sleeping. Okay, where's the last video at? Cause I'm running my mouth and I'm like, damn. I'm like, where am I at? I'm lost. Oh, here we go. I read that. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. Yeah. And it's all he planned out. Bring in that chip implant, the mark of the beast.
$50 to $100 a day. Easy. Well, you might ask, Johnny, well, what are you spending your money on? Why are you spending so much money a day? You think that's a lot of money? How old are you? Groceries are through the, excuse my language, motherfucking rooftop. The top is high of the rooftops you could possibly fucking reach. Oh, and you stop cussing. I'm being a bad influence. There's kids on TikTok. Fuck. I'm an angry American. Groceries are high. Gas is always fluctuating. And every time I walk through the Walmart parking lot, because that's where I have to go now because I'm poor, I just wonder what it might be like if someone might accidentally just back up into me while I'm walking down the lane and they just accidentally hit me, just take me out. And I think, well, then I'd be going to the hospital and I wouldn't be able to get my expensive ass groceries. So it's a win. It's a win, America.
So tell me why.
that every single time you reach some type of the most minimalistic financial stability, and you think for just the slightest second, you're like, I worked really hard. I can spoil myself. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. Getting myself a couple sweet treats. A new pair of jeans. God forbid, going to see a movie. Only to find out, actually, you know what? Your car is broken down. You now need to pay some type of fine from whatever you don't even know about. A medical bill just came out of someone's fucking ass. And on top of that, you're actually screwed. So you actually now have no money, no savings anymore, no money in your checking. You actually have, apparently, you owe debt to charity too.
An average college student or young adult in Michigan is spending on average $150 every time they go to the grocery store. As a young adult myself that is trying to strive to get a home, this is absolutely ridiculous. When did buying basic necessities become something that you seriously need to budget for? With just one state's analysis, it's about 3.6% higher than usual. To an average adult that is trying to make their way in life, this can cost a lot for them. And every day you just see MAGA Republicans prioritizing the wrong things and not really trying to advocate for the community. From the beginning of the year to just 8 months later, just look at the drastic changes in life.
My grocery bill in Georgia is now pushing $300 a week, and I'm not buying steak and name brand items. I'm literally just trying to buy groceries to feed my family. It's all over the news. Grocery prices are still up about 3% higher than they were a year ago, and beef prices are up almost 12%. So when people talk about affordability getting better, I want to know where. It's definitely not my grocery cart. But you know what really gets me? While Georgia families are worried about how much it costs just to feed everybody and put food on the table, Republican lawmakers pushed House Bill 947, legislation seeking to restrict certain purchases for people receiving SNAP benefits. Of course, all 6 sponsors were Republican. And when this bill got to the Georgia House, it passed 95 to 66, with Republicans making up almost 98% of the yes votes. So Georgia Republicans found the time to debate what struggling families should be allowed to put in their grocery carts. But where's that same energy for making the groceries in our carts actually more affordable for us? Because whether you're on SNAP or not, this affects real family. I'm in Savannah with 2 teenage boys to feed, and I know exactly how quickly even $100 disappears at the grocery store. But think about this. There's more than 1.4 million Georgians have been estimated to be food insecure. So there's more than 1 million people within our state struggling with consistent access to enough food. And the Republicans are doing nothing about it.
Everything is a fucking scam. Everything. And it's fucking exhausting to have to try to navigate the world and try to avoid being scammed out of money everywhere you go. From fucking grocery shopping, to healthcare, to fucking the government, to cryptocurrency, to the stock market. It doesn't matter. It's all a scam. The stock market is run by 1% of the country who have enough money to manipulate the market to make sure it does what they want it to do so they can make more money. The fucking cryptocurrency is all bullshit. Grocery prices, they're going to start using surveillance pricing on you. Healthcare, you go to the hospital, you get a bill for $20,000. You get home, you ask them for an itemized bill, and all of a sudden your bill goes down by 50%. Why? Because they're scamming you from the first place. Health insurance is a fucking scam. Everything is a scam. Oh, you want to escape the scams? You want to just get away from it all? Well, I'll just scroll on social media. That's a scam. They're stealing your fucking data and making money off of you that way. Oh, maybe I'll just watch TV. Well, there's 150 million different streaming services that are all trying to scam you. Oh, I'll go to a concert. No, can't go to a concert because Ticketmaster is scamming you. Everywhere you fucking go, it's a scam. Even fucking funeral services. You can't die in this country without having to try to navigate around being fucking scammed. It's fucking exhausting and I hate it here.
America's getting rid of the middle class, and whether or not it's intentional or not, it's exactly what it feels like. For decades, being the middle class meant you could build a comfortable life without being wealthy. You could afford the basics, have a little breathing room, take care of your family, and still believe that next year might be better than this one. But somewhere along the way, that started falling apart. Housing numbers climbed faster than incomes, healthcare became more expensive, childcare became another mortgage payment, groceries, insurance, utilities, almost everything takes a bigger bite out of the paycheck. And even people making what used to be considered good money or a considerable amount of it are even asking themselves why it still feels like they're barely getting ahead. The middle class was never about being rich. It was about stability. But when people work full-time, make decent money, and still feel like they're falling behind, something's changed. And maybe that's why more Americans are asking, is there somewhere else my money, my time, and my energy could buy me a better life? Because America may not have eliminated the middle class yet, it's well on its way.
Israelites, man, we all gonna feel the pain, bro. We gonna feel some pain and sorrow, but we just pray the Lord give us the strength to endure. Not for no easy life, but endure a hard one. Yeah, that what Bruce Lee said. That was a quote. But anyway, seek the Lord by seeking His prophets and take heed to what to say and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah by praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worshiping Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, and repenting to Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and nothing but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble. And for the man who are not teaching and preaching and not prophets, but you still keeping your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Shah, keep doing what you got to do. Because not all the men, that's believing in Yahweh Shema Shah are prophets, but hey, man, there's nothing wrong with having faith in the Lord, or our Lord, Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. For the few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order, Yahweh Shema Shah. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.